Hi, Dr. Karen Can. Welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. So, this week I have some news for you. Well, I always have news for you every week, but this week I found out that for myself, that I was auto-proxying for all of creation, also called the Infiniverse, or we've nicknamed all of creation the Infiniverse. So, the Infiniverse or all of creation would be all that has manifested from the source, the void, the 0 point. Okay, in our reality. So that includes this universe, multiple universes, alternate lives, everything. So I know that sounds really overwhelming, but I'm not the only one that was auto-proxying. So what does that mean? Well, when a person is automatically proxying for another, it means that they're running the other's energies through them, through their energetic or non physical bodies, if you will, in order to help heal or rebalance the other. And some of us highly sensitive souls do have that job. In fact, I am a healing type 4. There are four healing types. So, healing type 1, 2, 3, and 4. The higher the number, the greater the responsibility for that person when incarnated as a human. So if you're new to my channel, you might be like, whoa, what are you talking about? Incarnation, all this kind of stuff. Well, let me get you a little bit up to speed. So there are at least 20% of humanity that are considered highly sensitive, according to some research by Elaine Aron. Now, at the same time, in my own, researching, having done thousands of healing sessions, energy healing sessions, light medicine sessions, I've noticed that the group that come to me, almost 98% are highly sensitive. And it doesn't mean that that's true of all of humanity. It just means that's who comes to see me or who comes to, follow me or is part of my tribe. I am one of those highly sensitive people, a sensitive soul. I've been like that since I was born. And for highly sensitive people, some of them actually have a big job to do in the world. And a lot of them, and I've interviewed so many, a lot of them have this feeling that they're here to do something very important, like they're here to somehow save the world. And I remember even as a child that I kind of felt that way, like I want peace on earth. It just pained me that there was not peace on earth. And anything that was not peaceful or harmonious really, really bothered me. And now I understand why, because that was, that is my role, to harmonize. That's kind of like my, the golden thread that goes through my life is harmony, and that's what I'm here to do. So many highly sensitive people, or who I call sensitive souls, have a spiritual duty to actually help not just themselves in their own personal healing, or not necessarily even their family, but sometimes they are there to help whole cultures, their whole family line, Mother Earth, mass consciousness, all of humanity, and the list goes on and on. And so the higher the healing type, the more responsibility one has. So I had a nice little conversation with Source the other day because for about 4 days straight, I woke up and felt some knee pain, and usually, pain or swelling gives me a hint that something's going on, sometimes with something else, especially if I hadn't really done anything to cause or contribute to the pain. So I've recently been doing CrossFit, and that's pretty intense stuff. And it has not caused, any joint issues or problems. But I did notice, over the weekend, that suddenly my left knee, which is not the knee I've been having, swelling in at all recently, um, that one got swollen and sore. Now, me being a medical doctor is really helpful because I knew there was nothing serious at all, but I did know there was a backup of fluid. There was fluid around the knee, not in the knee, but around the knee, and I was making the muscles feel sore, so I couldn't really bend my knee that well. And so the first thing that I normally ask now as a healer is, whose stuff is this? So like Yvonne Perry's book, whose stuff is this? So I got that it was the Infiniverse. And this is, if you do any sort of muscle testing and you think you're a highly sensitive soul and your muscle testing is a little wonky, or you're getting weird answers, or you're getting weird reactions, you don't know whether it's your stuff or someone else's stuff, here's a tip. the two ways I start my muscle testing is I make sure that a yes is a strong response in my muscle testing as a no, and a no is a weak response. And if that's okay, then I move on to the next question. So if you're divine muscle testing, for example, if you're doing the sway test and you're standing up, we first, in divine muscle testing, we first connect to source. We do like a little mini prayer. We feel the energy in our bodies. I call that stillness through observing internal movement. And then we say, show me a yes. And what normally happens if your polarity is correct and your energy is running the right way, you'll lean forward. And if you say, show me a no, after a few seconds, you'll start naturally leaning back. And that's a normal response. So that means that the energy is running in the right direction, which means you can do yes and no questions and get some intuitive answers through your inner guidance. Now, the next question that I ask is, my name is Karen Can. So if that's my name in this body and timeline, if it's correct, I will sway forward if I'm doing the body sway method. Now, here is the tip. In addition to saying my name is Karen Can, expecting to sway forward, I also say my name is not Karen Can. If I also sway forward, that means I am proxying for someone else. Now, sometimes it can be, my name is Karen Can, and it'll be opposite. No, I'm not Karen Can. My name is something other than Karen Can. It'll be positive or yes. And then that way, I'm completely 100% proxying for the other, whoever the other is. Now, in the past, we used to say, my name is Bob, but we had some problems with that in the clinic because, well, some people's names were Bob. If I got that I was not Karen Can, but yes and no is strong, like yes is strong, no is weak. If I was not Karen Can, then, and I was not Bob, then I'd be guessing, like, who the heck am I, right? So the best thing to do is say, my name is Karen Can, or whatever your name is, and then my name is not Karen Can, So just know if you get two yeses, you're probably partially proxying or automatically proxying for someone or something you may or may not know about. And then if you get a no for your name and a yes for the other name, that is you're 100%, working through their energies. And then the question you may ask is that for the highest good? And the answer is sometimes. Sometimes. So some healing types 3s and 4s do have that higher responsibility to proxy for something or someone else because it's their mission to do that, or I call it a mini mission. As part of their foundational mission, there are these little mini missions along the way, and that was mine. So for 4 days straight, I was partially proxying for the Infiniverse or all of creation. So if I said my name is Karen Can, I sway forward. My name is all of creation, or my name is the Infiniverse. The universe knows what I talk about when I say that. So I, was yes, and then I asked, well, what percentage of this swelling, because I was getting swelling in the rest of my body as well. So if you got swelling in the last week, that might be it for you too. So I got swelling in the rest of my body as well as the knee. And I said, okay, what percentage of this swelling is directly related to, me being the Infiniverse? And it was pretty much 90 something percent, like 98%, 97%, 98%, something like that. So I was like, okay. And that's the other thing is, having a very stable diet, having a very good lifestyle, and eating well, drinking fluids. It doesn't really make physical sense that I suddenly swell for no reason or have a so-called injury for no reason, right? So I'm always questioning whose stuff is it. And the great thing about being well practiced in this is that most people having a symptom like this would be like, oh my God, what's going on? What did I miss? Do I have a weapon? Do I have something going on in my, and they personalize it. And what I've come to find out for myself and many others, and I encourage you to do that too if you're highly sensitive, is to first take a step back and go, interesting. Wonder if this is mine or something else's or somebody else's, And so you can check to see if you are proxying for another. And then if you are proxying for another, then you may want to ask, is it for my highest and greatest good to do so? Now, in my case, I got a yes, because I had a job to do. So what I did was I did healing, part of my Topocan healing method. I did a healing on all of creation or the Infiniverse, whatever it was my role to heal. So after doing that, then, the swelling went down, pain went down. Now I'm also using really high level tools as well to increase comfort and decrease symptoms. So I did use my LifeWave phototherapy patches. on that swollen knee, and that was super, super helpful. But I still knew that without doing the healing work, that it would probably have persisted. I had to ask, whose stuff is it? And then heal whoever stuff it was, that it was my job to heal. Now, if it's not your job to heal and it's not for the highest and greatest good, then you need to get back to you. And with the ascension process, increasing your clairs and increasing your spiritual abilities and gifts, your empathy and your ability to feel other people's stuff, you need to be able to be disciplined enough to come back to your own energy. And the fastest, easiest way to do that is through the stillness technique, the stillness through observing internal movement. And that's where you feel the energy running in your body. And I normally do it by rubbing hands and then closing eyes. This is how I teach it. And then you feel the energy running in your body. And as you feel that energy, what happens is all your energy circuits kind of come down and come back to you. Anything that is not you starts to fade away. Like your awareness becomes in the now. Your perception is in the now. You're feeling your body. You're being fully embodied. And oftentimes it takes about 3 seconds, sometimes up to 3 minutes, for you to stop auto-proxying. And if you are still auto-proxying after doing that stillness exercise, you may need to know more information. And that's where Autoproxying healing gets really handy, because we actually have charts and try to figure out, what's going on and what we need to know, what source wants us to know, that kind of thing. But for the most part, most people that are auto-proxying, where it's not for your highest and greatest good, if you go into stillness, that will kind of clear that for you. So, and we have really, really great reasons to go into stillness for, not just for that, but just to manifest more of what we desire, our future reality together, where there is harmony and peace and all that kind of stuff, right? And not like bazillion people running around in masks. That's not my utopian idea. Okay, so so we can do stillness to release other people's stuff. That's one very, very simple method. And if it is for your highest and greatest good to proxy for the other, then you're going to probably need to know who the other is. And that's where divine muscle testing can be really helpful. And in this case, you would actually say, because you can't use the word I if you're proxying for someone else, you would just use your first name. So is Karen Can proxying for the Infiniverse? Yes, for example. And then I said, well, is it necessary for Karen Can to know what needs to heal in the Infiniverse? Way forward would be yes, way backward would be no. And then I again go to the charts if necessary, my Autoproxying healing charts. Let me just show these two real quick. So these are some of the charts from Autoproxying healing. Okay, and they have negative stuff that you can erase, positive blueprints and morphic fields that you can download, and then more of a conversation with source and what source wants you to know or to grow or to evolve. And then we find out what the other needs to heal. And then we direct healing to the other. And usually the almost the millisecond your intention is to heal the other and you don't need to know more information, then the proxy is released and you are no longer auto-proxying for the other. Now, if you didn't know to do that, you would auto-proxy for the other, until which time the other was healed to the extent that it was your job to heal, and that could take days. But if you know who you're auto-proxying for, then you can directly send healing to them, and then it's much, much faster. Because we're using the quantum here. We're using quantum mechanics or quantum physics in order to enact and direct the healing. So it's much, much faster when your attention is on it, rather than you just automatically, your energy is being spent, healing another, and you have just no idea. You just feel crappy for 4 days. You know what I mean? So there's definitely still a lot of healing going on for all of humanity, Mother Earth, various different countries. I'm still doing my twice daily healing for whoever it is that I'm allowed to heal. Also doing for healers. Also did ask about entities. And entities are, for those of you that aren't familiar with that term, they are what we call negative spirits. They could be ghosts or demons, and there's many, many, many different types. I kind of lump them into big categories, and I'm actually going to, talk a little bit about that in an upcoming telesummit with Wisdom of the Ancients. We're going to talk about the different entities out there and what's going on in the world right now when it comes to entities. The good news I can tell you right now is that, we can heal entities in droves. We're talking millions and millions and millions at a time. Now, some of them are not my role to heal, so we let other people do that work, or whoever it is, whose role it is. But when I ask about entity healing for our world, for the Infiniverse, I do get permission to heal a certain number every day, which is super exciting. So I've been doing that on a daily basis as well. Can some of you feel potential detox from the work that I'm doing? It's possible if you're a highly sensitive soul, especially if you're a star seed. That is possible that if there is something that is non-resonant in you with the higher vibration, that because of your connection with me, even just watching the video or being on my channel, it is possible for you to have some sort of detoxification symptom. But or if you're just, obviously we're all connected to humanity, we're all connected on a quantum scale with each other, so it is possible if you are suffering some detox symptoms, whether it be swelling or fever or headache or something really unpleasant, you can always ask your subconscious mind just to cancel that out. Like, just let's let go of all need for any symptoms at all to tell you that you're in a healing reaction. So you can literally say to your subconscious mind, hey, subconscious mind, I don't need to know when I'm healing. You don't have to give me a healing symptom in order for me to know that I'm healing, because I'm going to trust that I'm healing. Now, obviously, you do need to trust that you're healing, in order for this to work. But you can actually do that for yourself. And those of you that in my tribe, if you're watching this and you happen to have, one of my Ascension 3 necklaces, bracelet, or earrings, very, very quick, you would just, ask it to do that. Hey, cancel out the subconscious mind need for, for symptoms. Thank you so much. So you can just talk to it like that. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, no fancy directives. Things like that. So yeah, so what was really cool is after I did this healing, I had to do it every day for about 3 days. The fourth day at night, like I said, I did patch my knee with the phototherapy patches. The next day, I felt actually quite good, and I really didn't notice that it was swollen anymore, but I still, just in case, I did patch my knee with the stem cell enhancing phototherapy patch and the inflammation patch, the Eon, around the knee, because I had this idea in the morning that I was going to do a CrossFit workout that day. And, a day before I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing it because my knee hurts and it's swollen. And so my husband had just done one that was called the Karen, which was 150 wall balls, using a 20-pound wall ball and throwing it up, 10 feet in the air. And I just, I asked Source, I said, I would like to do this. And Source says yes. And I was like, all right, we're doing it. My husband was so happy. So he likes coaching me through CrossFit because he's a CrossFit fanatic. So we didn't have a 10-pound ball or 12-pound ball. So I got the 8-pound ball, which is the one I can handle. I can't handle the 20-pound and throwing it up. So I got the 8-pound ball, and you do a deep squat, and then you throw it up, 8 to 10 feet in the air, and it touches the wall, and then you catch it, and then you squat back down, and you do 150 of those. And you can take rests and breaks in between, but the goal is to get them done as quickly as possible. I think James had his done at about 9 minutes, and he says, I think you can do this before 16 minutes, and I finished before 15 minutes. So he was really, really pleased and happy. I did 150 wall balls, and my knee was awesome. My knee was totally awesome, was totally fine. And that's the great thing, is because I didn't have that the negative thought pattern that most people have. Oh my God, my knee's hurting. How long is this going to last? What it is, that kind of, oh, there we go again. There's the pain again, that kind of thing. And it's more like, oh, it's swollen. Interesting. Okay, I know this is temporary. So what do we got to do? Is there a job for me or not a job for me? Or is my boundaries low? Whatever. Let's just go ahead and heal it. But I'm in this place of curiosity and acceptance. So that's why the symptoms can go away that quickly, or even more quickly. Not just because of energy healing, but because my attitude is not causing friction towards what it is I say I want. So I was extremely pleased with being able to do 150 wall balls. And let me tell you about the time we did 700 squats in a row. Okay, well, that's for another day. Anyway, so just so you know, if you're feeling a little funky the last 4 days, whether it be detox symptoms, fever, swelling, headachy, or had some other symptom, just check to see if you're auto-proxying for something or someone else. And if you are, the most likely candidates, if you're a highly sensitive person or a sensitive soul, would be Mother Earth, mass consciousness, all of humanity, or all of creation, if you are a type 4 like me. So I bless you on your way to go ahead and heal whoever, whatever it is that you need to heal in order for you to feel better and to release you to be able to use your energies to do something else rather than proxy for another. Yeah, that's something I call auto-proxying. Now, the other thing I just wanted to tell you real quick, the other part of the healing, last week I talked about healing for all healers and all the Infiniverse. And then this week we're talking about healing all entities that I'm allowed to heal en masse like this. And then the third thing I want to tell you today, as far as what I'm also focused on healing the next few days, is the elementals, the elements, if you will. Now, a little bit different from 5-element medicine, Chinese medicine, where we have fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. These elements are a little different. Some people call them elementals. They're almost like fairies or beings, or in and of themselves. They have their own intelligence. So in this case, we are working with fire, which you're familiar with, water, earth, and then the other two are different from 5-element medicine. The other one is air, and the last one is ether, which some people consider spirit or all of creation. I mean, it depends who you talk to. I'm not that familiar with this version of the elements. All I know is what I test and what source tells me, and what needed to happen was a balancing of the elementals. So I went ahead and did some balancing of the elementals, and then I knew that I was getting a little bit damp, the symptoms of damp, excess fluid, swelling, that kind of thing. And so what I did was I changed my diet to decrease the damp. And what you do is damp foods are things like dairy, fried foods, sweet foods can be really damp, and milky kind of, milky textured foods can be damp. So I cut those out, and I actually did like a 6 or 8 hour bone broth fasting over 2 days, which decreases inflammation, but also helps the energy in my body just kind of run more efficiently. So, and yes, I did do the wall balls during that time. And was fine. So I actually realize that I need to pay more attention sometimes to that I'm not really hungry, and that I can almost like eat energy from the 0 point, if you will. I still need to drink lots of fluid, though. I can't go without water. But I know there's people that do, which is really incredible, amazing to me. But another hint for you is, if you feel swollen, if you feel inflamed, if you're having issues, I'm not your doctor, so please check in with your higher self and your inner wisdom and your own doctor if you need to. But for most people, adults, it is fairly safe to do like a bone broth fast for 6 or 8 hours in the day, just to rest your digestive system, which takes up a lot of energy trying to digest food. So if you have that energy to really process whatever is going on with you, you might actually notice that you feel better. And please let me know how that goes for you. Again, use your own discernment. I'm not being your doctor. I can't prescribe this to you as a medical doctor unless you're my patient and we've gone through a whole history and all that kind of stuff, right? So use some common sense. But like I said, for most people, doing a bone broth fast is fairly safe. If you're on medications like diabetic medications, things like that, please, please, please get your medical doctor involved to just make sure that it is safe for you. But it's amazing how bone broth fasting, which is basically drinking bone broth and not eating solid foods for 6 or 8 hours during the day, and then having a dinner with solid food. It's amazing how much that can kind of calm the system down, decrease the inflammation, and just help you process faster. So a couple of announcements for this week. On Monday's Light Warrior Radio Show, I'll be interviewing my friend Genevieve Siegel, and she is going to be talking about holistic fertility. Yes, so there are some people that are very sad and upset that they can't get pregnant. Some couples are wanting to get pregnant, but they're having a really tough time. And Genevieve is the expert at helping people navigate through all of that, and she's got lots of stories of successful babies, being healthy and born from going through her holistic fertility program. So I definitely wanted to interview her on my show because so many of my audience are, very, very into holistic health And it's lovely to have this expert. And so I'm super excited. It's been months that we've been planning this, so super excited to have her on the show on Monday. The other announcement is that on July 21st, I will be doing the Wisdom of the Ancients Telesummit, talking about how to heal dark energies and entities with ease and grace. And we'll be talking about the Light Warrior Bootcamp. We'll be talking about certain things that you, if you, even if you have heard of entities, may not have heard of, including the light mirror effect. That's pretty important to know what that is. Also, a little bit about, you know, why there's some people that don't seem to ever get rid of entities, and it's ascension related. That's a hint. And then the third thing we're going to cover is about your microbiome, all those trillions of other people's cells in your body, other people meaning bacteria and other organisms that are in your body, and they are susceptible to entities as well. So I would say there's not a single healer that I know of that has actually focused entity clearing on the microbiome. So that's what we're going to talk about, and we're going to do an activation as well. So that's going to be on July 21st. If you're on my mailing list, awesome. If you want to know the time, the date, all the information, you can just click the link near this video. We'll post that link so you can register for the Telesummit. It's free to register, and you'll definitely want to mark off that date so you can listen for free my interview there. And then on the 22nd, the next day, I'm actually participating in a global peace gathering. So what's going to happen there, and this is with my healer friend Deepal Shah, who has been organizing. Deepa has, the healers come in for about 10 minutes at a time, and we do a group activation or healing. And then for 90 minutes, you basically get a healing every 10 minutes, from a new healer. And basically, it's to increase the love, the light, and the vibration of the planet, because we're doing this from around the world. And the more and more people that do this global meditation together with us, the more likely we are to have that harmony in the future that I so really, 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 see in our future, and I hope you do too. So I will post the links near this video that you can participate. Would love to see and hear and have you part of it. Hear you on the telesummits and on the Global Peace gathering. And until next week, bye for now, and lots of love.